Yep.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here this morning and supporting the authority. I want to call the meeting to order, September 26, 2024. Have board members had an opportunity to review the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yes.
Could I get a motion? Or we have to do attendance first? Should we go around the room, do it that way?
I think just the board members.
Yeah, it's usually just one of them.
Oh, Jennifer Saponis is here, Bill Pettit is here, Georgian Jones is here, Chris Burke is in attendance here. Thank you.
I'll move the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Any questions, concerns, comments, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Before we move to the report of the finance, I just want to take a minute to recognize Jeff Sperry and his contribution to the authority and his leadership as chair. Jeff was on the board for many years, contributed greatly, took us through some challenging times and did an excellent job. And by extension, did a great service to the city of Albany as well. So just want to take a moment to recognize him. I did have an opportunity to see him a couple of days ago. He's doing great and wishes everybody well. And he's worked great.
Great.
Thank you. A report of the finance, please.
Yes, the Finance Committee met September 20th, 2024. I'll briefly go over the results of the presentation. The first, the 2025 preliminary budget was presented. A review of our fiscal 24 accomplishments year over year. Revenue increased from FY 22 to FY 24 and our year-end projections. The fiscal year 2025 budget assumes a 2% decrease. That's $154,000 in revenue from fiscal year 24 budget. The decrease is primarily due to a significant reduction in grant reimbursements and a conservative revenue projection. In summary, fiscal 25 budget revenue is projected to be $9,182,836, and total expenses $9,138,500, with a surplus of $44,336 and a debt ratio of 1.78. So our fiscal 25 key objectives include transferring $150,000 to long-term investments, continuing to invest in art projects, and averaging $165,000 monthly deposit into our debt service set-aside account. We discussed our monthly revenue decline due to hybrid work schedules. Monthly parkers have transitioned to daily customers. We are projecting special events revenue to decrease in fiscal year 2025 due to the NCAA basketball tournament not being held in Albany. The Finance Committee recommended approval of the fiscal year 2025 budget. August financial statement summary. Revenue was $793,917 and expenses were $412,925, leading to a net income of $380,991. Parking revenues continue to trend above budget. For August, we forecasted $551,588 for parking revenue and finished the month with $566,783. Through event revenue was, though event revenue was below our monthly projection, is still 92% of budget year to date for 2024. We reviewed the investment policy portfolio. Debt service account has a balance of $387,947. The authority continues to make monthly deposits into our debt service set-aside account with a $200,000 deposit in August. Short-term account has a balance of $1,234,714. Long-term account has a balance of $315,000 $325, and the EV charger account has a balance of $17,697. That is my report. Does anybody have any questions?
The numbers look good, and I thought the finance committee meeting was very thorough, the presentation was thorough, I think we covered everything. We thought it was in good shape, thank you. Next. Move into review of the proposed annual budget. Underlined board members, there is a resolution 2024-0901. Please.
Do we wanna review probably would you like us to go through the presentation again, or did you wanna?
No, just any comments, highlights?
Oh,
on the
yeah.
agenda?
Yeah, since the finance meeting, we made no changes to it, so it's still as is. In just to reverberate or repeat conservative numbers, you know, compared to our actuals, they are lower. So we do anticipate that we'll be able to sufficiently meet those targets next year. We do have some safe falls built in as usual. We do expect savings in certain expenses because we budget the liability and not the actual annual spend or historical spend on those budget lines. But 1.78 is our debt service ratio with the ballooned payment. We went over how, you know, the cash difference between what the 2.8 million and what we actually have the cash obligation for the year. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Wait, we're good, we can move to consider the resolution. Who's handling that?
So moved.
Do we need to review it or talk about it, or simply a resolution to approve the budget as proposed?
Yeah. Also from a committee.
Right, so the finance committee, they recommend it, board votes on it.
Yeah, we don't need a second. Just vote.
Yep. So can we get that motion?
Oh, I thought I just did that.
Okay,
Okay, so I move that we accept resolution 2024-0901 of the Albany Parking Authority.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Resolution passes. Enforcement numbers.
Enforcement numbers, so, enforcement numbers for September, were lower than normal. It's due to, we had some staffing issues. We were down about 5 PSOs, so, that really hurt our numbers, but the good news is that, we do have those positions filled now. And, numbers are already, almost instantly coming back up, so we're still in good shape to meet our obligations. Our booting, we're doing about 4 per day currently, so those numbers will probably most likely exceed last year's numbers. Any questions about that? City's finally collecting all their money.
That's great. So the 4 a day is an increase from where we were?
Yes, it is.
Good.
Was there a particular reason that we were down 5 staff, or is it just like?
Yeah, so we had a few terminations, 1 resignation. But that's it. But we quickly filled them, though,
Yes,
quicker than normal. So
Yes, and that's encouraging because it's an ongoing thing. It's not an easy job.
No, it's not.
Thank you. Communications?
I don't think we have any communications. Alan, do we have anything?
We have any?
I don't think we did, right?
No.
Move right into new business then.
Yes, sir.
RFPs.
RFPs, downtown bid wayfinding sign installation project, they're on schedule to start this year. They're in hopes that they'll be finished by November. I'd be surprised if that were the case. So that could run into February, March of next year, depending on how weather is.
Mhm.
But as far as, you know, the materials and all that stuff, that's all approved. we already had a pre-bid meeting with the installer, got some kinks straightened out. So we're good to go. Want me to keep going?
Please.
All right, installation enhancement of lighting and wireless security cameras in the lot. So I'm proud to say that that is completed. We've been monitoring the Central Avenue cameras, making some adjustments. The lighting looks nice up there. If you're passing by, check them out. They're about 16 feet tall, the entryways and exits. Really puts a nice little aesthetics on the whole area, which is tough for up there now. They're having some issues with homeless like we all are, so.
Mhm.
And quite a bit of drug use as well. So we're trying to get a grip on that, and that's why we got the cameras. We're helping APD identify crime in the area.
So that's all of our lots.
No, that's only lots 2, 3, and 4, and 8. Those are our main concerns where crime is a walkthrough.
Okay. Any comments from any of the neighbors or any surrounding businesses? Or anything?
Just from the Waterworks pub, they're supportive of. They're supportive of the project. Scott's great and all, but definitely was fun working with them.
Good, okay. That's great to me. It does make a big difference about that extra lighting there.
Yeah. Over the years, putting up the new walls, the columns, the fencing, all that stuff, when we first started doing that, the walls were terrible and they were collecting garbage and, it's just been a nice transformation.
And having the cameras, APD. Call you all the time. I mean, they're always, it's kind of amazing. It's a nice way to be able to support their efforts, I think.
Yes.
So good, well done.
Thank you. Repair and preventative maintenance in the garages. Bram is doing a fantastic job. They're identifying some post-tension cable issues, some electric issues. Not a whole lot of change order requests. Actually, there's a lot less than I anticipated, so I'm just gonna knock on wood. But they're doing a fantastic job, and I hope that they continue to bid competitively so we can maintain that relationship.
Good.
Heated sidewalks. So we ran into a little snafu with the heated sidewalks because the contractor didn't actually look at our electrical supply. So that was a nice conversation that we had with them. So we're gonna find out exactly what we need from Grid to do that. If it's way above our budget, we're gonna have to rebid the project. I totally anticipate a riverfront garage needing an upgrade for a transformer, for a 3-phase transformer. And it just kind of stinks because we just had an upgrade at Quackenbush for the DC fast chargers, and we're looking in to see if that can handle that kind of capacity. I'm really hoping it can. I really hate to have to shut everything down again for a month just for National Grid to upgrade our transformer, because that's what happened last time. We were living off a generator for a month, so. So I'm waiting for Grid and the contractor to get us some pricing about that.
So the heated sidewalks are electric,
Yes.
and the contractor didn't
No.
determine if we had enough to support that.
So we have like 110 and we need 450 gigawatts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So,
Wouldn't that be a routine thing that you would think that they would do?
yeah.
Was that the difference in like what their bidding price was?
I don't believe either.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't. I don't think either one looked at it. And I don't know if Malloy actually came on site, or no, the other guy didn't. I'm sorry.
So you were thinking that the potential change order or changes might require you to have to go back out?
Yeah, if it's over $40,000 or $50,000 to do the to upgrade the electrical service to the garages, then we'll have to go back out. Yeah. I think 50,000 is in our range to be able to accommodate, but And I'll have to talk to Alan and Tom about the
So-
rules for
Right.
redoing that.
Are you talking all three garages?
Just the two, because we weren't sure what what Green Hudson was
Right.
gonna do.
Right.
We didn't want to put them in and then have everything like
So
demolished.
when they come back with that, can we think more to the future about what might, more charging stations we may?
Yeah.
So if we upgrade to do the sidewalks, we should upgrade to do the sidewalks plus.
Yes.
Something, not really sure what.
Yep, yeah, so we're, we're talking to our engineer right now about, because we're not so sure what's going on with the area yet. But, we're talking about the rehab still, some facade changes, but along with that, we want to upgrade our, electrical room that is grandfathered in for code, but we really like to have a code electrical room. That'd be fantastic. That can accommodate more, like, EV chargers. Heated sidewalks, all that good stuff.
That's Columbia Street. Which garage?
Hudson, Green Hudson.
Green Hudson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. Any more questions about heated sidewalks?
No.
All right, moving on to digital display signs. We're just talking to the contractor about when we can expect materials, so installs can happen this year. We expect that project to be done this year.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
So if you have to go back out to bid, the board was made aware of that.
Of
That
course,
thing, or you
yes.
just-
Oh, yeah, it's a bonded project, but I'll still let the board know.
Thank you.
Sure. Any questions about the digital displays?
No,
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Our garage camera expansion project, that has been completed, for about a month now. Minor bugs here and there, but we covered, a lot of our shadowed spots. We wanted to put some cameras in some stairwells. We got two trouble stairwells at Green Hudson, and one at Riverfront. So it's nice to have those cameras at the beginning steps of that. And then we have a much broader view of the surrounding streets, Hudson Avenue, Green Street, Water Street, on the back of Riverfront. And, as well as some surrounding area in the back of Quackenbush Garage. One additional camera that we're gonna put in, is gonna be at the entryway of the Quackenbush lot, pointing up towards a square, so we have a good, view of everything coming in.
And when you capture an incident in the stairwell or something, do we address it first?
We used to.
Procedure there.
We used to, depending on who or what it is,
Mhm.
we can send a guy over to kind of, ask them to please move on, whatever the case is. But most of the time nowadays, we just call APD, record it, call APD, have them deal with it. Hopefully they show up.
Yeah, I'm asking that question because I know that they are short-staffed and I just wondering.
Yeah, and plus the homeless individuals nowadays are a lot more aggressive than they used to be. So I tend to tell my guys to not engage more now.
Yeah. Mhm, mhm. Okay.
Moving on to the Clinton Market Collective Maintenance Agreement. So this is the agreement that we were, the maintenance agreement that we were discussing. That's identical to the agreement that we have in the Quackenbush Square, which is just daily cleanup, change of garbage, and the snow removal of no more than 2 inches. So we remove everything 2 inches and less. We use ice melt material. So the agreement's not too bad because it's not that we have to clear the entire square or market. We're just making an ADA path down the center of it and then clearing the ADA path or the ADA ramp on the side of it, and then the sidewalk that encases the market. Just one additional item that we agreed to is that we would store the tables and chairs that can walk away in a container that they have on site. It's not really hard for us to do. And they're gonna be paying us about
$26,608.
for a part-time employee.
Okay.
Do you store those tables and chairs daily?
Yes, yeah. winter, I don't believe we do though. Winter, I think they just stay stored.
Mhm.
So if something happens, liability wise, who's responsible?
They are,
Yeah,
yeah.
And what happens if there's 2.5 inches of snow?
You don't do it.
Well, I mean,
Not us.
Mhm.
right, not us. I like to, I don't like to nitpick like that. If it's 2.5 inches, I still,
Okay,
you know.
what if there's 4 inches?
Well, then that's their problem. Either they have to hire somebody to do it, or hopefully DGS is playing nice with them.
I see.
Yeah. They did ask me if I wanted a part of that. I said no. I didn't want to be responsible for clearing all that.
It's a whole different
Mhm.
ballgame if you're clearing 6 inches a foot of snow.
Yes.
We've got our own operation to get cleared immediately, to have to take on that.
Yeah,
You know, it's their, they have to think about that and want contingencies for that.
Yeah.
Be on us.
So I just have a question. So if we're asked sort of like, how is this tied sort of to parking? You know, Quackenbush is right next to the garage. So if someone like has a question, like, you know, like Quackenbush, the garage sort of, that's adjacent to Clinton Market. There really isn't anything sort of tied to parking.
so we have two things. It's the metered parking around the square, and also it serves as a pedestrian corridor from Quackenbush lot and garage to the event spaces on.
Okay.
and also if and
Street
when
everywhere
that
else.
gets, you know, programmed, you know, if they have a large event there, we get those parkers.
This is Twilight Market, is that where it's held?
The Twilight is
That's
in
in
the
Twilight Market's in the
square.
square, but it can potentially run into the market if it gets bigger. Which has been successful for us too. The Twilight Market, it's been great.
Where is that?
Now it's right in the square. They have it. They used to be on Lark Street.
Where?
Quackenbush Square.
Quackenbush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I was wondering where it went.
Yeah.
That was, you were,
So,
missed the thing.
Is there any more questions about the market?
so we have a resolution.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
VST contract renewal.
BST contract renewal, another resolution. So, as we mentioned last month, yeah, we did our due diligence. We've got quite a few, or I wouldn't say quite a few, quotes, but BST did end up being the least expensive, over the course of the 5-year period. We've had a good relationship with them, so we're excited. Well, I think as excited as you can be about auditing stuff, but you know, we're excited to have them back if we're all in agreement about that.
Great. Could I get a motion to approve the resolution 2024-09-3?
So.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye, thank you. Monthly pass.
I will pass this to Kevin.
Sure. So we currently, as of the end of August, have 2,220 active subscriptions for monthly passes. We are currently down 127 active subscriptions from the end of last year. This is 100% corporate accounts is our loss. We basically, for every 30 individual passes we sign, we lose 40 corporate passes every other month. So we're keeping up as fast as we can. The problem is the corporate passes are not losses due to our control. It's businesses leaving downtown. So there's no way to overcome that objection with them to get to help with retention with them. We have seen steady to significant increases across residential passes and individual passes. This is because we're advertising heavily to those markets now. Word of mouth has gotten out about them. So that's been our saving grace. Also, those passes are at the standard price. They're not at a discounted price or a quantity discount price that the corporate passes are. So revenue wise, we're closer than we are unit wise. So which is the saving grace in there. We do have feelers out for a few corporate accounts moving downtown or expanding downtown by the end of the year or first quarter next year. Montana has been doing an excellent job of doing outreach to our existing accounts to make sure their needs are met with our corporate accounts. And also we've been picking up onesie twosies there when they realize that they do need to increase their passes. So that's been a good effort on her part.
You know, the moving out of town, moving back in is cyclical, we understand.
Yep.
It's knowing about it.
Yep.
Managing it the best we can and taking those actions that are gonna make the difference. long
Yeah.
term.
Luckily, our daily and event revenue is
Correct.
amped up, so.
Yeah, the other difference we've seen is just because of the hybrid flex, we'll get decreases of like active accounts decreasing about 3-4 passes 1 month, then 5 months later, they'll add those 3-4 back because they don't need them in that interim. What we're also seeing is in new customers coming in, they're more around the 10 to 15 bucket, which leads us to possibly look at what we're doing to attract more smaller business accounts than focusing on those larger like 30, 40, 50 accounts, because that seems to be with the hybrid schedule. They're not having as many people in, so they're not using as many active passes all the time.
Right.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions about that? And we are still expecting MBT to.
Yes, that's one of the ones we've got feelers out for.
Yeah, it's important, right, that we pay attention to the real estate market and what's happening.
Yep.
So. I'm curious, you know, if the semiconductor effort and the national center and all that is supposed to be a decision by the end of the calendar year. If a piece of that happens here, that could have an impact on this. So. Meter updates.
Not a whole lot to report on the app only pilot program. We're still waiting for the building on New Scotland between Onderdock and Allen to activate. That's our last app only area for this season. Unless we find a more unoccupied area from now until December, that's all we're going to do. And I'm going to tackle more areas in the spring. But it's been great, no complaints. And it, really helps our back office, fees, labor, all that good stuff. So strictly credit card, all we're doing is signage.
Yeah, I think it's great. And the ease of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
great.
been beautiful. If it were up to me, I'd get rid of all the parking meters, but I do understand that it's a 0.5% of the population that don't have phones. Or want to use them.
Yeah.
So we still have the
I always
physical
see
meters
people
out
at the
there.
meters.
Yeah.
Especially people coming in from out of town.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a big difference though, because I believe that 90, I think we just did our quarterly report with the city, and I want to say 93% of our customers are credit card based for on-street parking, so,
That's good.
yeah,
Really good.
yeah.
And you were referencing the residential property that's being developed on New Scotland.
It's a
Yeah,
it's a
it's
mix,
mixed
I
use.
think,
Mixed use,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I believe they're getting a
It's close.
Starbucks or something else down there, so that's a big upgrade for St. Peter's Hospital, Dunkin'
But that
Donuts to
project
Starbucks.
seems like it's pretty close.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
they're,
Yeah, right.
I know. And if anybody, I know, I might be aging myself, but that area used to be a Phase and then a Kessler's. No, a Kessler's and a Phase.
You're older than I thought.
Yeah, I'm 45, 45, going on 46. Yeah,
Okay. Keep rolling.
yes, sir. EV charger update. Our usage for our EV chargers has declined slightly, but the revenue is still increased. That's due to our increase last January of the 25 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm not anticipating another, well, I'm gonna look in to see statewide if there's been any kind of increase on the fee. But right now, we seem to be fine where we are. We're keeping up with electrical costs as well as, keeping up with our promise to try to make these things self-sustainable. Lot 3 EV charger installation, they are installed and, they're just waiting to be commissioned, which means they're just waiting to be brought online. I believe we are scheduling or have scheduled, press, event release with the city. Steph, am I right about that? Or we are
Yeah, we're in
scheduling
communication
something?
with the
Yeah,
city, that and ARPA.
How many?
There we go.
How many charging
Board members
stations
done.
did they put in?
I believe they put in
Four.
4. I don't think any of those are doubles though, right? They don't do doubles.
I don't believe so. It's
Yeah,
four, it's 4
4
fast.
spaces.
And how many parking spots did we lose in there for the electrical equipment?
So, it's a total of 7 spaces.
What do you mean it's a total of 7?
So you got your 4 spaces that people park in to charge, and then the other spaces take up the equipment.
So we
and-
lost.
We lost a total of 7 that NIPA
No,
pays.
no, that's not what I mean. We lost actual parking spots.
Yes, yeah, we lost
Three.
3.
So you lost
Four, so we
3.
lost 3.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
And NIPA is paying us for the use of the 7 spots at our normal
So we
rate.
didn't lose revenue off of the.
No.
Right.
With the equipment that they put in there, can we just plop in more charging stations?
Well, no, we would have to,
Lose another 2 spots?
potentially, yeah, potentially.
Okay.
But adding 4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll see if they.
That's a tough thing with the fast chargers is, like when microwaves first came out, they were as big as a refrigerator. So, this is kind of the same case. So we're waiting for that equipment to get a little smaller so we can get it more like a level 2 fast charger than this huge unit for a DC.
Remind everybody which lot is lot 3.
Work lot.
Where is it? Just so everybody.
It's at
tuning in
327
knows.
Washington Avenue. So it's right on the corner of Washington and Lexington.
Excellent, thank you.
And Jen, would you
That's
agree
great.
with that, with the size of that equipment? I feel like it's,
That it's, do you think it'll get smaller?
yeah.
I hope so.
I'd be really curious to see how well that does. I mean, that location is close to an apartment building. It's between 2 neighborhoods.
Yeah,
You're coming off of the park and heading out. I mean, there's a fair amount of traffic that goes by there, so I'd be really curious to see.
How are we,
I think it's gonna get used a lot. We'll see.
are we gonna monitor the people who tend to leave their car there after it's charged?
well, NIPA is in full control of these specific chargers, so, it's up to them to regulate them. They can call us and we can put a warning on their vehicles like we do now in our garages.
How often does that happen?
Not as often as it used to happen. We would get, you get maybe about 2 people out of the 18 spaces that would just leave their car and would give them a warning once or twice, threaten to tow, then they'd finally get the picture. And there is signage up that states 8-hour max, et cetera. We could implement an idle fee. I tend to steer away from that. Doesn't mean that we won't ever do it, but if we ever run into a problem where it's consistent that people are just staying, we'll have to put an idle fee on there to encourage movement.
Does that work?
I haven't done it yet,
Oh,
whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, they still are parking in a garage, so we're getting revenue from them being there for that.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things you just have to play it out and see
Yeah.
how it goes, I hear what you're saying, we really don't wanna do that, we
Yeah.
don't have to,
yeah,
but at the same time,
yeah,
we need these to function the way they're intended.
that's right.
But in that lot, are they paying for like the day to charge, or is it like, how does that go?
In lot 3,
Yeah.
They pay to get in the door.
they have to pay to get in the door. Well, they have to pay the meter. Unless they're a monthly or a monthly customer. But they do have to pay the meter.
And then they.
And then they have to pay the fee for the DC fast charger, yeah. But the lots are pretty cheap, I think they're only 7.25 for the 24-hour period.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, then I would speculate that they're gonna be used overnight for sure.
I would assume,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Moving on.
please.
All right, collaboration with CDTA for their on streets. There really hasn't been much lately, which tells me that they're having an infrastructure problem. We ran into a little snafu with them in the Albany Medical Center area, where they felt the need to get Albany Medical Center involved without telling us. I didn't like that very much, so I kind of put a stop around that. As far as I knew, they were still looking into infrastructure over by the armory. I want to say that the spaces were closer to the library. So again, those are going to be 2 CDTA spots for their drive program, 2 public spots for us, with the agreement that we would maintain it, like we do with the city.
Where are they with the?
The last I heard, they were looking into how they were gonna get them connected. And I do have a follow-up meeting with Jonathan in 2 weeks to discuss what we're doing, if this is even happening this year. Every time I talk to him, construction's ready to go, construction's ready to go.
Yeah, right.
Never seen them break ground, so.
So were they just trying to include them because it's in front of the hospital? I don't know.
I think because I think it's because it's a high occupied area that they feel that their drive cars will get a lot more use. I don't necessarily know if it's because it's the hospital or not. But
So, yeah, the reason they were included was they wanted to use electricity from the hospital,
Yeah.
which
Gotcha.
was not going to work for us.
No,
It would have to be separately metered and everything else. We don't want to get into some
No.
weird agreement with the
yeah,
medical
plus Albany
center.
Med got weird about it. They were coming in with kind of like, we're taking charge attitude, and I was like, yeah.
This is on street.
Yes, sir.
On street,
On
yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do they need the big converter boxes like in the lot that we just talked about?
No, I believe these are gonna be level 2s, so they're just standalone. They just need a regular service going to them. Slower charge. Cheaper charge.
Nothing's easy. Okay, more to come there, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Grand updates.
Grant updates. All right, ARPA, we're working on a closeout form currently, and then we have an agreement, an MOU with the city to reimburse us $100,000 to go towards the project. So we're just getting a final invoice for that, so we can close the project out fully
And
on
the
our
project as well.
That was the cameras and lights in the lots of Central Avenue. ESD, we're just waiting for the grant disbursement agreement from them. ESD is notoriously slow, so we'll be expecting that within a few months notice. I think that was only about 50 grand that they owe us, so. Which could pay for our.
Still, it's.
Pay for our electrical upgrade for our sidewalks.
We'll take it. Okay. Any questions on the grant? Is there any unfinished business to come?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
I believe we want to go into executive session.
Yes, please.
Yes, for the minutes, it's F, the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation.
Thank you, Alan. Can I get a motion to go into executive session? Do we need to go out of this meeting and then move into executive session? I was getting.
Yes, yeah, we have, yeah.
Make a
Yes.
motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Second.
Bill. Thank you all. All in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Well, that would be it.
That's
Yeah,
it, we did.
you would go in the
Get it
executive
back out.
session, we're good.
13. Thank you. We are back in regular session of the board meeting. No decisions were made during executive session. With no further business coming before the board, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Thank you, Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Whoa.